Kailangan na pong lumaban dahil sobra-sobra na po yung mga pag-akusa na hindi ko po ipinaglalaban ng sarili ko dahil iniisip ko yung opisina at ang boss ko, Sec Martin Andanar at ang Pangulo. Kaya ngayon po ay sabay-sabay na tayo. Bakbakan na kung bakbakan.
Margot Mocha Uson vows to intensify her campaign and blogging after resigning as Presidential Communications Assistant Secretary.
Hindi niya ba kaya sagutin yung mga tanong na itatanong ng isang simpleng guro na naging kongresista na gaya ko?
ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro denies delaying the 2019 budget of the Presidential Communications Operations Office to force Uson's resignation. And the PNP Special Investigation Task Group eyeing 5 suspects in the killing of Sudipen Mayor Alexander Buki. Presidential Communications Assistant Secretary Mocha Uson has stepped down from her post following her involvement in numerous controversies. Some lawmakers, meanwhile, express mixed reactions, including disappointment over Uson's decision. Nel Mariboc tells us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte has accepted the resignation of Communications Assistant Secretary Mocha Uson, according to Special Assistant to the President Bongo. Uson made the announcement during Senate deliberations on the budget for 2019 of the Presidential Communications Operations Office earlier. She said her decision was prompted by the move of some congressmen to delay the passage of the PCOO's budget due to her absence into deliberations.
Taon-taon ay sinasabihan po ako na huwag punahin ang ilang mga mambabatas para hindi po ipitin ang budget ng PCOO. Nakagalit man ngunit ganyan ang sistema natin sa kasalukuyan. Bulok man ito ngunit kailangang sundin. At dahil po dyan, ako na po ang magsasakripisyo para maipasa na po ang budget ng PCOO. Ako po ay nagdesisyon na mag-resign na po.
Uson also clarified that her resignation has nothing to do with the controversial videos on federalism campaign and sign language that drew flack in social media. However, she did not give a direct answer when asked if she has plans to enter the political arena.
Sabi po ni Pangulo, let the people decide. So, alamin ko po kung ano po yung sasabihin.
Uson said that despite her resignation, her fight is far from over. She also vows to intensify her blogging activities to criticize groups that are opposing the Duterte administration.
Kailangan na pong lumaban dahil sobra-sobra na po yung mga pag-akusa na hindi ko po ipinaglalaban ng sarili ko dahil iniisip ko yung opisina at ang boss ko, Sec Martin Andanar at ang Pangulo. Kaya ngayon po ay sabay-sabay na tayo. Bakbakan na kung bakbakan.
Uson's decision to resign has disappointed Senator Nancy Binay, saying she missed her opportunity to answer allegations hurled by her critics.
Sayang yung opportunity to prove everybody wrong. Parang ito yung pagkakataon na ipakita niya sa lahat na she deserves to be called ASEC Mocha Uson.
But for Senator Joseph Victor Ejercito, Uson's decision is a good move.
Napakahirap din nung nung sitwasyon, no? She's a blogger at the same time, a public official. So siguro mas maganda rin ngayon for Mocha now to continue her blogs.
Nel Mariboc, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro denies Mocha Uson's claims that she tried to delay the passage of the 2019 proposed budget of the Presidential Communications Operations Office to force her to resign. Bernard Datis tells us why.
ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro expressed dismay over Mocha Uson's decision to resign as Communications Assistant Secretary. Castro says the House plenary deliberations on the 2019 budget of the Presidential Communications Operations Office would have been a chance for Uson to answer questions about her job and the controversies she is facing. The lawmaker also denies Uson's claims that she was delaying the approval of the PCOO's 2019 proposed budget to force her to resign after Uson failed to attend two House budget deliberations.
Hindi niya ba kaya sagutin yung mga tanong na itatanong ng isang simpleng guro na naging kongresista na gaya ko? Siguro kung humarap lang siya sa komite, humarap lang siya sa plenaryo, tiyak ko naman na masasagot niya yon. Ang isa sa mahalagang usapin kasi sa akin bilang public official, di ba alam naman natin yan na a public official is a public trust. Kaya yung accountability. So, pag nasa posisyon tayo sa gobyerno, malaki yung inaasahan sa atin ng mga mamamayan.
Anak Pawis Party List Representative Ariel Casilaw meanwhile calls Uson's resignation a welcome development, adding that she is now free to use any kind of gimmick if she opts to join the political race in 2019.
So ano yan, it's a welcome development, and kung sa Senate man yan o sa Kongreso, mas makikita natin yung kalidad ng mga argumentong kaya niyang ihapag. Undeniably, election season is coming and fast approaching. You can do all the gimmickries and antics para gamitin at i-maximize ang ganitong opportunity.
For Senator Risa Ontiveros, Uson's resignation is too little too late because she has already damaged the PCOO with her incompetence and proliferation of fake news. Ontiveros also calls on Communications Secretary Martin Andanar to restore some sense of order to his office and end the promotion of fake news. Bernard Dadis, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Sinserong Pinoy, usapang Sinserong Pinoy, we asked netizens from all over the country and the world through an online poll to tell us if they agree or disagree on the decision of the controversial Assistant Communications Secretary Mocha Uson to resign from her post. According to Lito Belonza, he agrees with Mocha's resignation as she can still serve the country as a private citizen. He also admires her for being humble, kind, and for looking after the welfare of others. Joanne Oamilda also agrees with Uson's decision. Joanne says Mocha is now free to fight, say, and expose corrupt politicians and government employees. Meanwhile, Loli Dibuya encouraged Mocha to quit for a better position, while Paulo Ronquillo disagrees with Mocha's move, saying she should have remained to learn more on government service and that the president needs people he can trust. Ronald Solitas Andrew, meanwhile, is saddened over Mocha's decision as he believes that she is the only person who can give them live Facebook updates about President Duterte. On our latest poll, as of 7:30 p.m., out of 2,565 voters, 54% or 1,385 agreed with Mocha Uson's resignation as Communications Assistant Secretary, while 46% or 1,180 disagreed. We encourage netizens to share their personal stories, videos, and pictures and send them to untv.usiserongpinoy@gmail.com. Be part of Usiserong Pinoy, sincere stories from our kasangbahay. Find out more about Mocha Uson's reasons for resignation or resigning from the Presidential Communications Operations Office on her one-on-one interview in the program Get It Straight with Danielle Razon tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning. Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte has dismissed Labor Undersecretary Joel Maglunsod. Maglunsod was among the leftist members who were given a position in the Duterte cabinet as part of President Duterte's promise to make peace with the communist rebels. During a speech before the rebel returnees in Catarman, Samar on Tuesday, Duterte said he got fed up with protest movements by left-leaning labor groups who he said were ungrateful for the opportunities given to them. Maglunsod was the remaining lefties among the members of the Duterte cabinet after the Commission on Appointments rejected the confirmation of Judy Taguiwalo, Rafael Mariano, and the resignation of Lisa Masa as National Anti-Poverty Commission Secretary. Maglunsod was a former representative of the opposition group Anak Pawis and a political detainee during the martial law regime. He also served as Secretary General and Vice Chairperson of the labor union Kilosang Mayo Uno. President Duterte warned to take stern action against the militant groups, citing the negative impacts of their actions, which the president described as paralyzing the economy. In other news, police investigators are looking at 5 perpetrators behind the killing of Sudipan Mayor Alexander Buking, though crime lab examination results suggest that a single firearm was used in the assassination. Leia Ilagan tells us why.
The Philippine National Police Special Investigation Task Group is eyeing 5 suspects in the killing of Sudipan La Union Mayor Alexander Buking. But La Union Police Chief PIO, Police Chief Inspector Silverio Ordinado Jr. clarifies they have no persons of interest yet, though they suspect that all gunshots originated from a single firearm based on the bullet slugs recovered from the crime scene.
Ang findings kasi ng crime lab natin doon is iisa lang yung pinanggalingan ng baril. Yung 39 na cartridge cases, iisa lang ang baril na kinamit. Definitely, isang lang yan, isang gunman lang yung bumaril doon.
Authorities do not discount the angle of illegal drugs in the case. Although Sudipan Police OIC, Police Inspector Juan Casem Jr. confirms that Mayor Buking was not included in a PNP's narco list. The municipality has also been declared drug-free in April this year.
Kasi dito sa amin, sa police station, Sudipan Police Station, wala talaga siyang pangalan. And then, pinakonfirm din namin yan na hindi siya talaga kasali sa narco list.
Other potential angles that the PNP are investigating includes business, politics, and personal reasons that may have led to the murder of the mayor. Police also say that Vice Mayor Wendy Joy Buking, the wife of the victim, has yet to make a request for additional security following the fatal ambush. According to PSPG Director, Chief Superintendent Fillmore Escobal, they can provide the injured official with up to 4 more police escorts when authorized by the PNP Chief and Malacanang. Based on a Lunan doctrine, local officials are only allowed to have 2 police escorts. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
President Rodrigo Duterte believes that the best way to address insurgency in the country is for the military to neutralize enemy forces, particularly the members of the New People's Army. Rosalie Cos tells us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte orders the armed forces of the Philippines to neutralize the forces of the enemy, especially the communist rebels. In a speech at a camp of the Philippine Army in Catarman, Northern Samar, Tuesday, Duterte told soldiers that the best way to solve the decades-old problem of communist insurgency in the country is to neutralize the members of the New People's Army. Duterte says the Reds have long been committing the crime of rebellion against the government. The chief executive also says the rebels can be arrested without court-issued warrant, especially members of the infamous hit squad of the NPA, the Sparrow Unit.
Neutralization na tayo. There is no crime prevention because the crime is being perpetuated 24 hours a day. So, hindi mo kailangan magtanong pa kung may warrant dyan. Pag may dala ka ng baril dyan, Sparrow ka, you can be neutralized. They are committing the crime of rebellion 24 hours a day. Naghanap lang ng encuentro.
The president assures soldiers that his order to neutralize the NPA is legal and that they do not have to worry about being sent to prison. He also says he is ready to be criticized for this latest pronouncement.
Best way is intelligence. Magbuhos kayo ng intelligence. Then pag nakuha nyo, it's neutralization. I will be criticized, but I'm telling you, I am guiding you what is practical and what is true and legal.
The Communist Party of the Philippines said in a statement that the confluence of various democratic forces will bring down Duterte. The worsening economic conditions and internal political conflicts will also prompt groups to mount more protests in the coming months. Rosa Licoz, UNTV, News and Rescue.
Up next on Y News. OFW Party List Representative John Bertiz in hospital due to chest pains. Department of Energy to provide 200 e-trikes in Boracay Island as part of the modernization program. And grade 1 pupils in a school in Davao City kickstart a latest social media video craze. Thank you for keeping me company in the first part of Y News. More reasons behind the stories with William Pio and Angelo Castro III after this quick break.
Welcome back to Y News. We pick up to where Rina Villamor Camara left off. I am William Theo and here are the headlines. Committee on Ethics begins its probe on the behavior and incidents involving OFW Party List Representative John Bertiz. British telco giant Vodafone exploring possibilities of joining the country's telco industry according to DBM. And to increase bread prices.
Flour is going up and it will continue to go up so long as there is a limited supply of wheat in the market.
And a group of bakers set to increase bread prices. As the recent number of HIV/AIDS cases reaches an average of 32 daily, a study of the Philippine National AIDS Council shows that the number of HIV/AIDS cases will triple in 2028. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
Is concerned over the possibility that the number of Filipinos being found positive of human immunodeficiency virus or HIV/AIDS will triple by 2028. Based on their study, HIV/AIDS cases in the Philippines will reach to 265,900 if the government's programs against AIDS are not expanded. According to Dr. Joselito Feliciano, their study shows that people being involved in risky relationships belong to the age group 15 to 24 years old. Based on DOH report, people living with HIV increases yearly. From 2 per day in 2009, it has spiked to 32 this 2018. The Department of Health is also worried over the United Nations program on HIV/AIDS or UNAIDS report showing the Philippines topping the country with the highest HIV infection in the Asia-Pacific region for the past 7 years.
It's a behavior. Behavior na hindi sa isang iglap mawawala, ano? Dapat paulit-ulit nating finifeed ng tamang information para ma-inculcate sa minds ng mga tao na ito yung mga dapat gawin.
Based on DOH Epidemiology Bureau, there are 859 HIV cases recorded last year. From January to July, more than 6,000 cases were recorded in the Philippines. Meanwhile, more than 30,000 Filipino people with HIV are undergoing an antiretroviral treatment to help them suppress the HIV virus within them to prevent any transmission. Several groups were also founded to help counsel and treat people with HIV.
I think they need to be empowered to seek treatment. If you get tested and you become, if you turn out to be reactive and then confirmed positive, then there are a lot of treatment and HIV again is not a death sentence anymore.
The Philippine National AIDS Council reminds the public to avail of the free HIV testing.
So marami po tayong maitutulong sa PLHIV. So ang kailangan po natin is We should encourage those having this risky behavior to get tested and know their status, and then link them to care.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasig City.
Meanwhile, the House Committee on Ethics begins its probe on the behavior and controversial incidents involving ACT's OFW party list John Bertis. Grace Casin tells us why.
OFW Representative John Bertis filed a resolution on Wednesday seeking an investigation on himself following the incident at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Bertis drew flack over his display of arrogance against a screening officer who asked him to remove his shoes as part of the airport's security protocol.
No, you did not. Except, parang this is supposed to be for us to discuss the issue.
Several incidents also placed the controversial lawmaker in hot water prior to the airport scene. He was caught on video engaging in a brawl with a leader of an overseas Filipino workers group in Hong Kong. He was also criticized for his inappropriate remarks during the oath-taking of new engineers, where he threatened those who did not acknowledge Special Assistant to the President Bongo of not receiving their professional license. According to House Minority Leader Danilo Suarez, they have been receiving complaints against Bertis and that they will not condone his misconducts.
He's not an exception to that. Marami din siyang kasamahan sa party list na meron din mga complaint against him.
Congressman Bertis, meanwhile, is in hospital after he complained of feeling chest pains. In a text message sent by Bertis to the UNTV News, he said he was unable to get proper sleep in the past few days. COP-NATCO Party List Representative Anthony Bravo shares Bertis had undergone 5 heart surgeries in the past years.
Nag-trigger pa niya. Kasi supposed to be 7 bypass. Di ba pa lang na procedure lang natin. Nag-complain mo siya ng chest pains? Yeah.
If the House Ethics Committee proves that the lawmaker had violated the Code of Conduct and ethical standards for public officials and employees, Bertis may face suspension or worst, dismissal as a representative. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
On Usiserong Pinoy, Usapang Sinserong Pinoy, we ask netizens from all over the country and the world through an online poll to tell us whether they agree or disagree on calls for ACT Party List Representative John Bertis to resign from his post. According to Tasig Al-Ikrar, Bertis should resign with dignity, not for popularity and money. He also advises Bertis to avoid dynasty and give chance to others. Nancy Gamisera, meanwhile, calls on Bertis to resign after he failed to follow safety protocols in NAIA. She also wonders if Bertis's temper will again get the better of him when OFWs encounter problems. Manuel Del Prado, meanwhile, says Bertis should resign if he was not duly elected by Filipinos. But for Miko Paserin, Bertis's resignation would only be a band-aid solution, saying it is a current system that creates people like Bertis. On our latest poll, as of 7:30, out of 2,370 voters, 98% agreed on Bertis's resignation, while 2% or 37 disagreed. We encourage netizens to share their personal stories, videos, and pictures and send them to UNTV usiserongpinoy@gmail.com. Be part of Usiserong Pinoy, sincere stories from our kasangbahay. And in other news, a group of bakers are seeking to increase the prices of bread in the following days. But according to the Department of Trade and Industry, the move is not timely. Monhokson explains why.
A group of bakers in the country warns that the high cost of baking ingredients may push bread prices up. According to Philippine Bakers Association, the prices of oil, sugar, and cooking gas have all increased in the past weeks. An upward movement was also reported in the price of flour.
The bread products were not able to make an increase. Considering na yung Pinoy Tasty hindi yan umabot sa mataas na presyo na bumabari naman. Pati Pinoy Pandesal.
Flour millers have reported an increase of 50 pesos in the price of flour, bringing its retail price from 750 to 760 pesos per sack. Flour is the main ingredient in making bread and is also used in making noodles and other products.
The prices of flour is going up, and it will continue to go up so long as there is a limited supply of wheat in the market. Kailan magbabago yan? Pag tumaas ang harvest, maybe early next year. Ganon naman talaga yan, cyclical yan .
But according to the Department of Trade and Industry, the recorded increase in flour prices is still considered lower when compared to previous years. Based on the data provided by the DTI, the cost of flour reached up to 900 pesos per sack in 2014, but it gradually fell to 600 pesos this year. Even consumer groups believe that increasing the price of bread is untimely, citing weakening peso against dollar rate. The Laban Consumer Group also said in a statement that the spike in the price of wheat is not reasonable and that the competition among flour millers remains a big factor in setting prices. The group also appealed to the DTI to include premium breads in the list of expanded SRP to monitor its price, aside from Pinoy Tasty and Pinoy Pandesal. Wilson Flores of the Kamuning Bakery, meanwhile, will not increase his bread prices, believing that the cost of basic commodities will decrease next year.
Baka pwede, sasabihan ko yung mga accountant namin, na pwede ba kami magtiis kahit ilang buwan na hindi masyadong itaas, then tignan natin next year.
Mon Hokson, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Department of Agriculture conducts Food Security Summit together with the local government units. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
Local executives from Northern and Central Luzon joined the first Food Security Summit on Wednesday. Department of Agriculture first convened the Luzon A Cluster, or the 400 municipalities and towns of the Cordillera Administrative Region, Ilocos Region, Cagayan Valley Region, and Central Luzon. The Food Security Summit aims at identifying the needs of each municipality in order to become self-sufficient.
This is actually the new battle cry that we should carry. Maximum utilization of all available agricultural areas in this country.
The municipality of Kapangan in Benguet, for example, still falls short by 50% of their total food requirement despite having vegetable plantations. According to Mayor Manny Fermin, one of their concerns is irrigation. The municipality only harvests palay once in a year.
Nagawa na ko yung mga bukid doon . Meron at meron, pero ang problema, pasilidad, mga kalsada natin hindi ho makakit sa taas.
The DA will convene next the local executives of the Southern Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao clusters. Piñol hopes that the government will be able to craft a national food security plan through the summit that will run for 5 years. The Agriculture Secretary, however, clarified that there is no food shortage in the country. The only problem, he said, is how to deliver the produce to municipalities in need. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
Meanwhile, some bus operators are concerned over the implementation of a new wage scheme on bus drivers and conductors as affirmed by the Supreme Court. Joanne Nano tells us why.
The Provincial Bus Association of the Philippines is disappointed after the Supreme Court affirmed the fixed system wage scheme among bus drivers and conductors. Just this September, the Supreme Court has dismissed the petition of the group which sought to nullify the order of the Department of Labor and Employment and the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board on the implementation of fixed wage scheme among bus drivers, as well as providing them benefits similar to those received by regular employees. Although they do not have plans to appeal the decision of the court, the group is worried that this might result to a possible profit loss among small-time bus operators. Apart from having big expense, the continuing rise in fuel prices also result in business loss for some bus operators.
Yung mga operator na kulang sa financial capacity, mahihirapan sila na makapag-comply na bayaran itong mga benepisyong ito. Kasi kung tutuusin, yung benepisyo na nakalagay dito, siguro daig pa niya yung mga nag-oopisina.
Edwin Cabrera, who works as a bus driver for 20 years, is also not in favor of the fixed wage scheme. He still finds the commission basis as the best wage scheme for the bus drivers. Cabrera says he earns more than 1,000 pesos daily, aside from the allowance that is being given by their employer.
Mas okay po itong commission-based sa amin. Hindi naman po kamukha nung ibang transportasyon yun sa amin eh. Sa iba po kasi straightan. Sa amin po kasi halos sa araw lang kami bumabiyahe. Halos puro pahinga na nga ako dito eh. Kaya pagka binago pa yung sistema, baka lalo kaming mahirapan yan.
Meanwhile, the LTFRB believes that through the new wage scheme, the number of accidents involving buses will decrease.
Ang impact na nakikita natin dito is one that is for the benefit of the riding public, a safe ride. Kasi po, hindi na ho magmamadali ang mga bus drivers natin. They will be able to observe traffic rules and regulations.
The LTFRB warns that they will not renew the franchises of bus operators who will fail to follow the process of imposing the right wage scheme among bus drivers and conductors. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Parañaque City.
Budget Secretary Benjamin Diokno says the British telco giant Vodafone is exploring the possibilities of joining the Philippines telecommunications industry as the country searches for a third telco player. Let's find out why from Rosalie Cos.
The economic managers of the Duterte administration cited some of the highlights of their trip to the United Kingdom last week to meet with the British business sector. The economic managers who joined the trip were Budget Secretary Benjamin Diokno, Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Ernesto Pernia, and Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez. According to Diokno, they were able to meet with UK's telco giant Vodafone that appeared interested in the possibility of joining the Philippines telecommunications market as a new major player.
We had a discussion of our interest to introduce a third party in a duopolistic market. They appear interested. Okay.
When pressed for more information, Diokno clarified that Vodafone has yet to officially express interest, but they raised some concerns on the process of doing business in the Philippines.
They ask many questions. Because Vodafone is, as I said, the biggest telco company in the world, and of course they want to make sure that they will protect their reputation. They don't want to get involved in shady deals.
Diokno said Vodafone has the means to work on the necessary requirements if ever they decide to participate in the bidding process. Vodafone in 2013 participated in a bidding process to acquire a mobile telecommunications license in Myanmar but later withdrew, citing the country's allegedly non-strict internal investment criteria. Interested telcos have until November 7 to submit their proposals to the Department of Information and Communications Technology. The agency targets to name the third telco by December 2018. The companies that have signified interest include the Philippine Telegraph and Telephone Company, Now Corporation, Converge ICT Solutions, Trans-Pacific Broadband Group International, and Easy Call Communications Philippines. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasig City.
The Department of Energy or DOE will give 200 e-trikes to tricycle franchise owners at Boracay Island as part of the agency's modernization program. Vincent Arboleda will tell us why.
Following the Clean Air Act and Vehicular Modernization Program of the Department of Energy, 200 electric tricycles or e-trikes will be given out by the agency to Boracay Island. The move is to lessen air and noise pollution in Boracay caused by engines of gas-fed tricycles. While it was earlier reported that gas-fed tricycles should have been phased out in Boracay last September, a move by the local government postponed the resolution until the road construction on the island is finished.
Kina-consider yung kondisyon ng mga kalsada natin ngayon, hindi pa tapos. Pagka suitable na yung road natin, eventually mag-phase out na.
Once the donation is made, the local government of Malay Aklan plans to give the 200 e-trikes to existing tricycle franchise holders who have not yet changed their gas-fed tricycles to e-trikes.
May moratorium na kasi sa franchise so ang pwede lang mag-operate noon yung mga franchise holder na rin.
Meanwhile, Jerry Esquivel, General Manager of EV Wealth, the company in charge of the said project and is representing the Department of Energy during the SB session yesterday, clarified that these e-trikes are given via conditional donation. Meaning, though the e-trike units are free, a fee of 649 pesos will be paid daily by the tricycle driver or operators for 3 years for fleet management. This includes the establishment of a command center for supervising the traffic and the system of the e-trikes in Boracay, maintenance of the unit, as well as consumables like tires.
Normally kasi pag bumili ka ng sasakyan, ang kasama lamang doon, yung masira yung motor, masira yung battery. Pero in this case, pati consumables. So kasama doon yung gulong, kasama yung preno. Yung araw-araw na iniisip ng operator kung papagawa ko ba yun o hindi, hindi na kailangang isipin kasi kasama na sa program.
A charging station will also be installed in houses of each e-trike beneficiaries to further save up money and erase the need to pay charging fees to e-trike charging stations. The Department of Energy is now awaiting the Malay LGU to pass a resolution authorizing the mayor or vice mayor to receive the 200 e-trikes for Boracay Island. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue, Boracay.
And those are the reasons behind the stories in the second part of our newscast. Y News returns with Angelo Castro III. I am William Theo. Good evening.